If you are still playing Mega Knight, y'all are missing out. Mega Knight has been consistently one of the most community-hated cards for years, with people throwing spitballs at it, losing their minds facing 50 Mega Knights in a row in their games. If I got $1 for every time someone complained about Mega Knight, I would have been a multi-millionaire. But if you still believe Mega Knight is an OP card in the big 2026, you gotta wake up, brother, because it ain't 2017. It is just a stinky, garbage, new baby-ass card that almost never gets its elixir worth when played. So let me break down why Mega Knight is actually bad. First, it gets easily distracted. Mega Knight's jump is programmed to not lock onto its target once it charges for its jump. In other words, just place a card before it prepares for its jump to kite it away from your main DPS cards. You can even activate King Towers with this mechanic. Not only that, you can induce the Mega Knight to jump away from its support cards by placing cards away from it. That way, you will be able to deal with cards individually. The only reason I imagine players struggling to counter it is because they panic from the and start making huge blunders, placing down cards at the wrong position for the Mega Knight to jump onto your tower. Second, the card is just poorly designed. The ironic part about Mega Knight is that, in my opinion, the only aspect of it that makes it up for being a 7 elixir card is that it deals area damage when deployed. But at the same time, the area is not large enough to counter entire pushes unless you just crammed all your cards at the bridge conveniently for your opponent to counter. And if the spawn damage were to be buffed in any capacity, it would have potential to be a broken card in my opinion. In other words, the only part of the card having the slightest resemblance to being good is the same thing that's holding it down. And also, I've seen people complaining about Evil Mega Knight always getting value. Brother, pretty much any evolution nowadays gets value when placed. That is the whole point of evolutions. If not, players are not gonna pay Supercell to buy shards from the shop. If you don't like Evil Mega Knight ragdolling your 10 elixir pushes, just don't play a 10 elixir push when he has his Evil Mega Knight. Keep poking him, maintaining constant pressure within the boundaries of having the proper cards and adequate elixir to defend. There are way more broken cards than Evil Mega Knight in the game right now. Third, it doesn't belong to any deck. Due to its nature of hopping around the arena helplessly, it isn't fit for the main tag position, nor a win condition. Its elixir cost is way too high for it to be a versatile card. The only deck that I imagine Mega Knight would be useful is a sneaky Mega Knight, where you play cards that are irrelevant to it, and play at the most unexpected moment to gain elixir value and build up the nastiest counter push. But at the same time, if that were the case, there are many other cards you can choose from that fits in more with the deck you are playing. Psycho cards will apply constant pressure, forestalling the opponent from building full pushes, which quite doesn't really require a card like a Mega Knight. For big decks, you can use any other card like Evil Valk or E-Drags and more, creating space for better tank card that actually serves its purpose. Also, I've seen a lot of people complain facing 6 to 7 Mega Knights in a row is aggravating. And I agree, I think that it kinda ruins the experience and makes the game bland. But joke's on you, if Supercell were to delete Mega Knight from the game, players are just gonna replace Mega Knight with something like Boss Bandit, Goblin Giant, or even Recruits. But for people who are just underleveled and have to face Mega Knights that are way more overleveled, I feel sorry for y'all because at the end of the day, Mega Knight is actually one of the cards that require extremely low skill to play. But at the same time, it's not gonna be different for any other card you face because princesses that aren't one-tapped by log or wizards that get one-shotted by fireballs, that kinda destroys the basics of the game and is equally as mind-boggling. Anyways, if you are still using Mega Knight in the big 2026, I ain't gonna lie, you gotta pack it up, gang. The card is just bad and you're just gonna sit down praying as Mega Knight gets distracted by one elixir card and starts jumping to your side of the arena. If you're a new player and considering Mega Knight as a possible card in your deck, trust me, don't, because you're gonna waste time and money. And if you think I'm wrong, you can challenge me to the Thunderdome where the loser gets banished to the Shadow Realm. Anywho, just please do not use Mega Knight. It's just gonna make you one of those mid-ladder menaces and you're just gonna become the very thing you hated. And also, not to mention that you're just gonna be playing Mega Knight for the rest of your Clash career. So do not use Mega Knight.